go up against Solo. And Solo has been a player that I think actually has had a lot of highs, especially when we look at back in spring with TSM. I think he actually was a player that surprised a lot of people's expectations and was one of the main reasons TSM even picked up wins in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Solo is rock solid. You know, he is a really steady top laner, plays weak side, plays a lot of tanks. You kind of know what you're going to get. He's not going to get blown out. He's going to have a good contribution in the 5v5. That is what you get when you are getting Solo on your team. Ahri going to be grabbed up here by Bolulu. And this is always that interesting question is it worth actually taking the other part of the duo to deny it? In this case, Cloud9 will. They will deny it, you know, take that Vi away. Obviously, it was Viego chosen up here first by the Ahri. But it is a bit surprising, I will say, to actually prio the Viego over the Vi here, because that is such a duo that people really do love.
That's what I was about to ask you, because I was looking at that one, and to me, it more screams that it's a Kenvi style pick. The Viego was something back in Academy when he was with 100 Thieves Academy, was something that he was really showcasing a lot of his strengths on. Kindred was the other kind of champions that I think of when I think of Kenvi and how he can pop up. So having that, where you still do have, it's not exactly a point-and-click stun, but you have that stun that you can set up an Ahri with in the mid lane, especially if you're looking to attack EMENES.
I mean, it's just a question of reliability, right? You know, how often will you be able to always hit that stun? You can look for a W flash and things like that, but it's a lot more difficult. Whereas the ulti from Vi is unmissable. You point, you click, the R comes in, you can follow up with the charm. That's why people love that combo. Though I will say, we have been seeing a lot of teams, I think, struggle even when they do get the Ahri Vi to really be able to execute, especially later on in the 5v5s. But for Cloud9's side, it seems like it is all about the dive. I do think this Aphelios feels a little risky here for me. Yes, Azael was already banned out, but you're going Aphelios here against Vi, Kaisa, Annie, 1, 2, 3, who are going to be full sending it for your backline. And the question is, you know, what are the bans going to be? Are you going to ban away Nautilus to try to protect? Are you going to try to take away the Nautilus? It kind of feels like Treatz needs to be on an Enchanter to have some sort of protection for tactical, or I feel like he's going to have a nightmare game.
Especially because Melio was banned already. It's already off of the board. You can't take that champion to give you that added safety here in the bot lane. So looking at what is still left open, especially the enchanters that we still see in the meta. Yuumi, gone. Thank God. Cat's out of here. Everyone's praising
Unless
that
you're Zven.
Unless you're Zven. That is true. But I don't think that we're going to have that with a Kaisa, just thinking.
Yeah, probably not. Not expecting that myself here either. Nautilus is still up. They could grab it. A Mumu would be interesting. We have had 3 Melio games for Treatz, 2 Nautilus games, 1 Rakan. Melio, Rakan both banned out, so we're either going to see something new or we are going to see the Nautilus once again. No shot we're getting blitz when we don't know the enemy support yet, so it's going to be Ksante for Solo. So the top lane will be locked in. They'll save 5th pick support for last to try to look for a counter pick and see if they can get a winning 2v2 against Berserker and Zven, who have been on a bit of a tear, I think, this split. They've been doing really, really well.
Yeah, I mean, started off with the Yuumi meta, as you were talking about. Zven was playing that a little bit after she got nerfed as well. But I think also with a lot of the engaged supports with Berserker liking to play very aggressively, this kind of fits. Having a Rell with a Kaisa, a lot of engaged potential, and the wombo combo you have between that, having a Vi, having Annie on your team, that is a lot of power that Cloud9 are bringing to these team fights.
Absolutely, and if they go Gnar, you know, it's basically 5 dive. You do have a little bit of side lane with that Gnar, the ability to try to play, you know, split up the map a little bit, but it's going to be all in here for Cloud9. They are all looking to go one direction. They're looking for that dive. It is going to be Treatz locking in the Alistar. This is a combo that a lot of people do like. Honestly, wouldn't mind seeing a Janna. Like, into this sort of composition, I think Janna actually answers Rell really, really well, but it could help potentially to keep the Aphelios safe. Yes, there is the individual kind of interaction where you can actually interrupt the crash down, and that's why people love this matchup. And you can try to hex up people away. Yeah, you can tornado it very easily. You also have the ulti to knock multiple members away, because we know everyone is going to be piling in on tactical, and I think that is going to be the difficulty. Like, can they actually keep tactical safe and have him really contributing in a meaningful way to these fights?
And that goes back to the point you were talking about. Tactical has been such an important member for Immortals with a lot of their victories. In fact, you look back to just last week on last Friday against 100 Thieves. The problem that Immortals had was that you had a Wukong, an Ahri, and a Rakan from 100 Thieves constantly attacking tactical. Nobody could peel for him, and even though he tried his heart out in that game, there's only so much you can do on an immobile Jinx.
Yeah, it can be really, really difficult in some of those cases. So Tactical is going to be cleanse, trying to keep himself a little bit safer here. There's a lot of lockdown on the enemy team, which is going to make things difficult. We'll see how well they can play out these early stages. You know, if this Viego really will pay off. You know, Viego, great in skirmishes. If you can get that first reset in a fight, you really can try to take over. You can turn things around. But I do think the reliability of Viego is a lot lower than the Vi, and that is why we see so much Vi these days. That is why it's so high priority. It just gives you that guaranteed lockdown on these slippery targets.
As we've loaded up onto the Rift, our last game of the day today for Week 3, Day 1. Neither team going, you know, I always like to see early game shenaniganeries, as I like to call them. Level 1 plays where people look for anything. The cowbell I appreciate from Treatz. It's close enough. It's the closest I think I'm going to get in this game to any kind of action.
Yeah, you're going to count as shenanigans?
It's shenaniganeries. It's a special word. It's a special word I've developed purely for level 1 plays.
Oh, okay. So post level 1, it's just shenanigans.
It's shenanigans, yes. After that, it doesn't count.
Okay, understood. So, not going to be too much going on here at level 1, but Berserker walking in with Zven, they will at least get that ward down. It is, of course, spotted, but they're going to know exactly where Kenvi is starting. And that is going to give Blaber that info. Blaber going to be clearing top to bot. You can see that Kenvi clearing bot up towards that top lane. It is going to get a leash. So we'll have that advantage here. And we'll see exactly what he can do with it. I do think it could be difficult to attack the Gnar, but there is potential with that Ksante.
But the Ksante and Viego, both of them really good at attacking someone, especially if the hop's already been used, you can try to jump on top of them.
And notice how Zven and Berserker actually move forward to actually group the minions, and that's how they denied that first CS. They stack the minions, they are able to make them focus fire that first melee, so the first melee was already dead before Tactical actually arrived, so not the biggest of deals. I think Tactical still got XP. It looked like he was probably in range, but you know, -1 CS, why not? It's for free.
Yeah, exactly. And it gives you that small little lead here. And for any Kaisa lane, I always think level 2 is such a priority to try to get early on into any lane, really, because then you can keep everyone at bay. You're low range. You don't want to lose out on that early level 2 and then get pushed around by something like an Aphelios.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, getting that push definitely going to help you out. Alistar, obviously really weak level 1, so, you know, often you can get that push, and Zven is kind of threatening, stepping forward here. They have that early level 2. They're stacking the wave. They are pushing it in towards their opponents. Is Zven just going to poke away?
What a chat move. Just walks up in the minions, too, just like, you can't do anything to stop me from stunning you.
Yeah.
You can watch me do it, and I'm still going to do it.
Absolutely. I mean, if they engage in on Zven, it's not going to look good for them, especially against this Hail of Blades Kaisa. You know, in those early levels, really strong. Get those 3 quick autos, stack up the passive procs with that CC that's coming out from Zven as well. I mean, there's really just a lot of CC across the board, which is always nice to have on Kaisa teams. You know, help get those plasma stacks for access for ultimates, but also for additional damage.
But one thing with Immortals is they do have good ways of kind of buffering a lot of that CC. The Ahri can dash away from some of it, Viego as well, Ksante, even Alistar to a degree can get rid of a lot of that CC that can come in from Cloud9. But it's all about how you pilot it, and I feel like both teams, the lane phase is kind of like whatever. It's kind of meh. They're just farming it up to get level 6, and that's when they were just going to go full 5v5 rumble at the jungle.
Yeah, we'll see if that's going to be the case or if anyone can make any sort of action happen. You know, Blaber definitely has some opportunities here, potentially around mid lane. There's point and click stuns from any, so you can look to attack the Ahri.
Right, so what side are you taking? Are you taking the something's going to happen before 6, or are you going to go for the full 5v5 like I am?
I think something could happen pre-6. I think we might see Blaber look for a gank. You know, he is one of those players that does like to get active on the map. The fact that there's no cleanse on Bolulu, you have point and click stun from Annie, I think you could look for a play mid. All
right, I kind of just want the 5v5 because I think that'd be fun. That's a fun way to start off a game. But at the moment, seeing that everyone just kind of farming it out, looking at the junglers still, Kenvi, Blaber, and Blaber being such an important member for Cloud9, kind of setting up a lot of the rest of the team, getting them into these positions that they can utilize some of those strengths early into the game. He's just waiting it out. He's trying to power farm to level 6 to kind of keep up with that of Kenvi.
Yeah, absolutely. Kenvi has been spotted, you know, down over here by the Gromp. A little bit of poke being traded back and forth here between the 2 bot lanes. I do believe that Blaber was also spotted on a ward that was over by his blue buff, so both junglers should have full intel on where they are. You've got to be careful when the Intofo Strikes is charged up. If you get flipped in that mini tower form, you really can get beat down. That's where things can get bad, so you have to pay respect every time that is charged up, and Fudge will do just that.
That's a kind way of saying that he's gonna die. That's a very kind way of saying that.
It's definitely possible.
at the moment. Still just seeing everyone waiting it out. Like, I'm telling you, I'm convinced that they're all just like, yeah, we're handshaking. We all are in agreement. Level 6. Level 6 for Vi, level 6 for Viego. Cool. Yeah, that's when we rumble.
Absolutely is possible here. We'll see if there is going to be any action before that. I mean, you know, for now, it has just been full clears. It's just been trading farm back and forth. You know, some slight advantages here or there. You can see 100 gold in the advantage of Immortals, thanks to a small CS lead in mid, a small CS lead in top. But that really is just about it. You can see Berserker going towards the Shiv Rush. There's pretty much always Shiv and Ashters these days on Kaisa. You know, you get the upgraded W. That really does ramp up the poke.
Yep.
And you're able to have a tremendous amount of burst as well, you know, with that passive proc that does scale pretty heavily off AP.
Yeah, and landing the Void Seekers is always going to be nice, as you were kind of calling out just now, Azael. But everyone kind of getting some resets. Kenvi. He's going to be spotted if he goes into that brush. They try to use the Hex Flash. They got the pull on Zven, crashed down away. Even with Ignite and the stun for Treatz, he is low, trying to slow him down with the Graviton. The flash in to pick up first blood. You're right, Azael. It's before level 6.
Nicely done. Tactical going to be able to get first blood. It does cost him both the summoners as well as both the summoners there off of Treatz and the flash off of Kenvi. So a lot expended. You know, 5 summoners for the 2 of Zven, but they do get the kill, and critically, they get it onto Tactical.
Yes.
So that is the biggest part here. Getting Tactical ahead is going to be massive, but it could be a bit of sharks in the water here. You know, Blaber may spill blood down in that bottom lane, knowing there's all the missing summoners. If he can get 6, he could go straight down there with it. Zven spotted with the sweeper here. Flash in from Treatz, Q flash straight forward, so no real ability to react to that. This is a little bit faster on the dismounted form, you know, ever since Rell was reworked, so there was maybe some hope of getting out, but once all the flashes are committed to follow, there's not really any chance of him getting out of there.
And as you said, Tactical getting that first blood, really going to help out this bot lane. We're going to look at how that will impact this upcoming Dragon, as Immortals do have a lot of control. Even if the wave has been slowly pushing back towards them, they have pretty good gun setup to kind of clear out this wave. Set up with Kenvi, look for the early Dragon, and deny anything from Cloud9. And that's why, going back, you were talking about smelling blood in the water for Blaber. You've got to see what kind of play he's going to look for now that he is level 6 on this Vi. And that mid lane looking awfully juicy.
Yeah, mid lane's looking good. I think bot lane's looking really good as well, and they realize it. That's why Kenvi is here. They realize that they are very susceptible right now. There's no summoners on your bot lane at all. If Blaber was down there, they would die if Kenvi was not there to cover. So Kenvi does come down to cover. This does give Blaber a little bit of an opportunity to get ahead in the farm, as he's just been power clearing here non-stop. And we'll see when he's going to look for his first move. EMENES is playing around mid. You know, you called it out. I do think mid lane, you know, easy to go towards with that Tibbers. Now unlocked.
Right there.
It's going to be a trade, though.
Going to take a lot of damage. Not even going to use his Spirit Rush, though.
Yeah.
That is going to be a nice cooldown that they can keep over EMENES, as EMENES, like you said, was just trying to poke him out, get him out of this lane. No TP for Bolulu, so it is going to be a long path back.
And I mean, a lot of it when you're playing First Strike Annie is you just drop Tibbers on cooldown to get lane control and to farm gold, right?
Exactly.
He's already earned 110 gold from that First Strike, so pretty nice. Just being able to get that gold injection. Zven shows up. Just going to be able to dematerialize the cannon, trying to help him push it in because EMENES is low on mana, wants to go back to base. They won't be able to fully shove it in here, but EMENES will look for the reset. Zven will clear out some of these wards, and just continuing to help support around that mid lane. Blaber now still on that full clear, has gone back to base though, and does have some pretty powerful components, is heading out towards bot. They know the Herald has been started top. You can see that's the problem with putting a pink ward on the very edge, is it doesn't actually spot the C9 ward. So you want to have that in a more central location. Blaber knows what's going on. He's going to trade for Drake on bot side.
Yeah, and it's going to be an all-right trade for Cloud9. I'm with you. You talked about getting that first Herald. That it's so powerful, and having that for Immortals. I do like how they kind of shook up what I expected. The bot lane won out, so I expected them to go into the Dragon, the trade with the Rift Herald. But they decided instead to bring up Treatz to make sure that they can get that control in mid lane, and then go to the Rift Herald, so that way they can have that tool to start cracking some of these plates.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, being able to get that early Herald, almost everyone is going to favor that, but we'll see what Cloud9 can do. You know, it wasn't a super fast Drake, but if they can continually stack those up, going to be feeling pretty nice. Then we'll head back to base. Berserker as well, as Treatz has arrived back to lane. And we'll see if Immortals can continue trying to push the base. Berserker's recall will get stopped, which is pretty annoying. Probably just going to have to stay around now. We'll see if he actually fully completes this. because Herald is down, so it's not like he's going to be looking for a swap, and this isn't a Ken wave, so you're going to lose a full wave if you do base.
Yeah.
But he does complete it anyway. I guess it's just going to be Blaber covering here with Zven, and those donate some more farm into Blaber, who's already up, a good 14 CS, and with this wave, he's going to be up probably nearly 20 on Kenvi.
Yeah, but Kenvi still has that Rift Herald in the back pocket, and you can see right now, Bolulu and Kenvi, they want to make a play happen somewhere. We were talking about kind of being surprised the Vi wasn't taken with the combination of Ahri, but it does have somewhat of setup, like the Vi Ahri does have, if you can get that Spectral Moss stun with Viego.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you can connect on that stun, there's also obviously, engage and stuns coming in from Treatz, so they do have some ways to try to set up the Ahri, but we'll see if they're going to be able to do it. If you can't actually get access to the backline, the Ahri can really struggle. There are a lot of squishy members, though, over on the C9 side that you can be focusing down, that you can, get some pretty high value with those charms on. Even the Gnar and champions like, Gnar and Vi are relatively squishy as long as you're not in Mega, early on in the game. Obviously, once you start having your second, third items and so on coming through, you start building up a bit more HP. That can become more difficult. Berserker is obviously going to be always that kind of premium target that you want to get, but I do think there's options. Both Annie, Kaisa, as well as, Fudge anytime he's in mini Gnar is pretty good too.
Ooh, right there, getting a little bit of punish. Solo, though, taking his own damage back and forth as Fudge kind of chasing him out in mini form. Good chase down potential, even hopping forward for this one. He's in a lot of trouble, and he's about to go mega. The flash away, the flash forward from Fudge, and even landing the boomerang, and that's going to be a solo kill for Fudge.
Nicely done by Fudge. Gets the chase down there on Solo, and Solo, just a little bit of a misplay. As he's stepping forward, he's fishing with those Antovo strikes, but he didn't actually get his third Q. And he used the Pathmaker early. He didn't have any tools to really ward away the mini Gnar on the chase. And once that happens, sure, you're getting a decent early trade, but Fudge just goes for the full chase down here. Going to be able to get a plate as well. And now opening up a 500 gold lead on the top side. All of this farm is being lost here also. Blaber down to bot. They're going to look for a fight.
That's going to be a 3v3. There is a TV top lane, but the TV's in the bot lane. They're going to be most important because Zven's going to die before anything happens. They're going to trade back on Tactical. That's the guy with the gold. You got the stun coming in. Pension back. Immortals on the run. Where can Treatz go? The cow about to be made into some burgers as Cloud9 pick up the fight.
Cloud9 winning on that bot side, winning on the top side as well. Massive for them. Already out to a 1.4k gold lead here. Berserker had the shift completed, gets a kill now. EMENES getting a kill here as well. We can see this one more time. Zven going for the initial engage. Blaber was trying to find an angle with the ball breaker to flash by, but it does actually get blocked as there was a flash forward from Treatz that ends up blocking it. So Tactical kept safe for a small amount of time, but then the Vi ulti gets popped. The ulti connects with Tactical. It's the follow-up with the killer instinct there from Berserker. EMENES arrives on the TP, and everything goes sideways for Immortals. Cloud9 has been so good on these collapses. There's multiple times this, but we've seen EMENES immediately responding to these bot lane fights. Quick TPs, comes up, ends up being a game changer.
It was also good from Zven. He gave his life for Ire in that one. He's just like, as long as I can land the Magnastorm, get the rest of the team set up, and then Blaber, point and click. You talked about that with the Vi. Tactical, what can you do at that point? You have no flash. You don't have a way away from the Vi.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very, very difficult to create that space. In Tactical, he's going for a high DPS build here. He does have that Kraken Slayer, but it's not anything that's going to keep him very safe, at least in these early levels. So will be difficult for him. We'll see if he can make anything happen. The Rocket Belt now completed as well for EMENES, and he has a stopwatch. So Cloud9, I think, going to be pretty down to just continue fighting. Going to be looking for this next dragon here. It's Immortals moving in first, trying to claim vision, trying to clear out some of this as Zven will be forced to Hex Flash over the wall. But wouldn't be surprised at all if Cloud9 want to fight.
Neither would I. That's the whole identity of their team composition. They built this to rumble, to fight at level 6. They've all hit that point. But Immortals, it's not like there are any slouches at that either. They get one kill, the resets that Kenvi, Bolulu both can get in these fights can be detrimental for Cloud9.
But look at Fudge, neither top laner had TP. He got the push on top, he makes first move. So if Immortals fight now, they're gonna be down a man.
He's about to go mega as well. That's gonna be a big thing, and they're all corralled against the wall. Zven went into the back line, but look at the damage they got on the Kenvi. No resets for Immortals. Treatz tries to get away, but that's gonna be Fudge into the back line, all out on top of him, trying to pull him back in. They've got the charm. They do trade 1 for 2 at the moment, but Immortals, they're the ones that are behind because they lost their jungler.
Yeah, they lose their jungler, they lose their support, they do kill off Fudge, but they're gonna lose the dragon critically as well. And Cloud9, who was already ahead, going to get even more so. And Berserker paying a little bit of respect to Bolulu, didn't want to walk up too early. But another well-played fight here from Cloud9. Again, they had first move. You look at the minimap, it's all about the move here from Ksante. He's trailing the play. Immortals try to preempt it. They try to go in very quickly here onto Blaber. Zven looks for the engage, but Kenvi was going away for it, so it's a little bit of a whiff, but he does get the double stun onto Bolulu and Tactical, and that is the critical point. Tactical and Bolulu were not really a part of this. They didn't have access to the targets that their frontline were tanking up, where Berserker is free-firing the whole time. And that is the difficulty with these types of champions, is that if you don't have someone with them, Aphelios can't really step forward and scrap in the middle of the fight. He needs some protection around him. Solo wasn't there at the beginning. Treatz looks for an engage. All of a sudden, Tactical's by himself. What's he supposed to do? You can't actually walk through Zven to join the fight.
How can you survive that one? No flash, no cleanse, no life there for Tactical. And that's why he had to play so far back. And as you called out, Azael, getting no damage for Immortals. And with Kenvi, the other person that you can maybe rely on, I was talking about the resets of Viego, he got blown up. He got popped like a balloon.
Yeah. I mean, they're just not really getting that upfront damage to get those kills, right? And I understand the thought process is Gnar has first move, so they're trying to preempt the play. They're trying to start it up in a 4v4. But without Solo there, that is, you know, the biggest part of their front line. That is kind of the key component to keep Tactical safe. So I do think it becomes really, really tough. But we'll see if Immortals can get anything more done in these subsequent fights. We're only 16 minutes in, is a solid advantage for Cloud9. It's not game-ending by any means, but Immortals are going to have some momentum gained here. You have to feel in this next fight, because Berserker's already really getting ahead of the curve of the game. He has 3 kills. He's already got the second item, so the Naturus is done. The W upgrade is through, and he's online.
Yeah, he's gonna really hurt, especially with landing that poke from range that they then could follow up with as well. And as you called out, unless Solo's there, they don't really have a front line that can absorb some of that poke coming in from Berserker. So calling down Solo to always hang around a lot of these fights could actually impact them massively in the side lanes against Fudge.
Yeah, it can, right? And then that's one of the difficulties, and they're going to look for Fudge now.
That's a flash away, but they already got the cease and desist. All out. Solo tries to dash away, but they just got way too much follow-up, and it's a rampage even for Berserker.
Yeah, Solo going to go down in the side lane there, caught out. Fudge was up towards the top lane, you know, covering up there where Ahri is pushing, but Solo felt confident to move forward, expends the flash, goes down anyways. Blaber just waited on it with the cease and desist, and now the Herald's going to get dropped. Berserker's going to get tier 2 tower in bot lane, will claim that gold. It's going to be traded back for the tier 1 in mid, but Fudge is going to be working on your tier 1 top as well, so everything that Immortals gets, Cloud9 is just getting even more.
Yeah, they get double your money that you get, and even get another charge onto the inhibitor turret in the bot lane for setup for later, that they can play around after the Baron that they want to pick up once it gets 20.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be really difficult, but you know, as soon as Fudge got ahead in that side lane, you know, that is one of the problems. Is he's going to have push. He's going to be able to bully out this Ksante, and when Ksante is under his tower, he's always going to have second move. You know, if you're down teleports, that gets really, really difficult. You know, Fudge is better suited to playing through that side lane than the Ksante is oftentimes. So we'll see what Immortals can get done. Next Dragon here in a minute 50. Blaber claims another crab.
Blaber's crabbers.
He's working towards it, yep.
Gotta live up to the name, right? Gotta live up to the name of the meme. But really important is the fact that he still has a lot of power that he can bring to the team fights that are probably going to be brewing here for Cloud9, as they are starting to slowly take control of Immortals jungle, especially around this top half of the map. It's still a minute left until that Baron's going to spawn. But they want to make sure any stragglers, anyone caught out of position of Immortals, they can immediately collapse on.
I mean, Immortals just had no vision in their own jungle. Nicely smited away, though, by Kenvi.
Oh, but Treatz in a little bit of danger. He tried to go back in. He even used the Moonlight Vigil, the stun, but it's onto the tanky member. Zven goes into the back line, but look at Blaber. They've got everyone corralled here. Berserker shows up out of nowhere for a double kill. Everyone's flashing away, but they're picking up the kills. Solo fighting against Fudge, and we already know how that matchup goes. It is all Cloud9 tactical. You can't even get out of this one. You're pinched, you're locked in, and you're triple killed by Fudge.
Fudge gets another, and Cloud9 get an ace here 19 minutes in, nearly 7,000 gold ahead now. And watch how quickly they pull the trigger on the turnaround. It's Treatz who goes in, but watch Zven finds his moment. They all stack up, flash, Magnus Storm, crash down. Everyone piles in. Blaber goes in with the cease and desist, then immediately flashes out, knowing he would go down. Berserker's into the back line immediately. And Fudge is going crazy in the midst of the fight with the tippers as well. You can see EMENES trying to even micro this in to tank up the turret for Berserker to be able to clean up that kill, but they realize it's a little too risky. Just wait for Fudge, give him that triple kill. Zven engages, Zven dies, then he cheers on the team. That's a support's job right there.
Hey, he did everything he needed to. He got a huge engage, as you called out, followed up beautifully by Blaber. Berserker came out of nowhere to clean up a couple kills, but now Fudge in a little bit of danger, about to go make a 3-man Gnar. He's got a lot more damage than I expected, but not enough health to survive 3 members.
Yeah, that was about 1 auto away from killing Kenvi. That actually got really dicey. But on the other side of the map, it's C9 trying to just take down Baron with the 2-man. I don't know that Immortals are even going to expect this because Blaber was on bot side. I don't think they're aware of it whatsoever. So Tibbers is even just going to be dropped to take this up. Berserker's on 3 items with the Rage Blade, and the Baron is gone. Immortals thought they had found something. They got a kill. They got an objective bounty, but they lose Baron, and still Cloud9 take more.
Yeah, who would expect a 2-man, 20-minute Baron start for Cloud9 to take that as well? It will kind of be answered by Immortals here in the bot lane, getting themselves a turret, but so much has been lost out from them, even with that attempted play. Then top lane, they lose the same structure. That's, again, it feels like everything Immortals get, it is doubled by Cloud9.
Yeah, it's really, really difficult from here on out, and I just think it's a really heads-up play from Cloud9, no hesitation. If you're going to send 3 bot at 20 minutes, including your jungler, you better know where the other members are on this team. And there was multiple members from Cloud9 that were up towards that top side. EMENES and Berserker just immediately went for the Baron. Blaber was down on that bottom side. He just comes up to help them secure it. They finish it off. They have that now. Treatz trying to look for some sort of an angle, has Hex flashed into the brush, but stepped a little bit too far forward. I think he would have been spotted, and EMENES, is just pushing out bot. Berserker getting really aggressive.
Berserker is playing very aggressive there.
A little bit of trolling.
Goes over to the wall with the killer instinct, but followed up by Bolulu. He uses the cleanse away, but the re-engage coming in from Blaber, and there's Fudge. Flash, only Gnar on the one person. This is Kenvi. But Kenvi knocked into the air. He's blown up. He's out of there. Look at the kill they got onto Blaber. Immortals are turning this one around, but look how low they are still. They've got Zven, they've got EMENES, they've got the damage, and they've got the poke. Looking for Treatz underneath the turret. The Hexbreak Neurotic belt just gets Immortals away. The poke did not connect that time from Berserker. Cloud9, they might have lost a member, but they still have control mid. Yeah,
they are going to get the push. They'll likely be able to take this tier 2 because they are ahead as far as the health and the resources. There are concerned, but Blaber does go down. Berserker, it looked like he was really just trying to style on him. He's basically in a 1v4. I think he knew Treatz was around. Perhaps didn't get vision of it. Maybe I overestimated the vision range on that cannon, and maybe he wasn't seen. And that would explain that a little bit more. But Berserker playing with fire. Did have a nice killer instinct over the wall, retreated back that wall, got plasma, used that to get over the wall, and does keep himself safe. But Cloud9 try to pile into the fight. And this is one of their tendencies that can sometimes happen.
Oh, Tactical Tibbers. He's chasing down. He's pummeling for Tactical and burning him alive. Oh, man. It feels like, again, the story of this game, everything Immortals get, it is doubled by Cloud9.
Yeah, that's rough. That's a death cap already completed for EMENES. 10 stacks on the Dark Seal. He is looking really, really strong on this Annie. And Tactical is not able to find anything here. They're going to lose the mid lane inhibitor tower. Fudge pushing up through top, and Cloud9 closing in. We're only 23 minutes in. The inhibitors have been cracked. The first one going to fall. And they can even just move up towards top and potentially threaten there.
This is why Cloud9 look like the strongest team we've had in the LCS all year long. Getting first place in spring and looking like they're going to retain that title, at least tied up with Evil Geniuses if they can take down Immortals now.
Yeah, absolutely want to keep pace at the top of the table. They did have that one loss to finish off last week, but besides that, it's been pretty much a perfect split here from Cloud9. Have been looking really, really good. And Berserker so far ahead at this point in the game.
He's
it's going to be almost impossible for Tactical to really get involved. You can see that one W tags him. And that's about 30-40% of his HP.
That last one hit, I think he dies because that's the passive popped as well. Berserker just 3 items strong. The alternator in his inventory as well to do extra damage to the members of Immortals. Looking for that poke. Not as bad. Not as bad.
Yeah, can be a little bit tankier, but still. Oh.
But not Tactical. Tactical is not as tanky. He eats that one, and he is getting chunked out, and he's already going all the way back. He's taking the long walk of shame back to base.
Man, it is so annoying playing against Kaisa when they're at this point, too, because they do incredible damage in the fight, but also it's just this poke that's just being thrown out. You know, really low commit poke that does a ton of damage from 2 screens away. It's so frustrating. Berserker is just fishing with it non-stop here. And Cloud9 now trying to escort those minions in through mid. The minion wave has arrived here on bot. EMENES has flash, he has Tibbers. They could look as this turret is getting really low.
Low from before, back when the Rift Herald had collapsed. Remember back then, doing a little bit of reminiscing. It looks like Cloud9 are just going to try to poke out at Immortals, play this one safer, waiting for the minions to crash in through mid.
Yeah, Fudge just trying to distract them here, drawing tactical over, but the waves are not synced up. So, you know, while they're clearing out this wave, the next one had not yet arrived. So now Immortals can move down towards bot, look to clear this, but
Flash for flash. They are going to get a little bit of damage back, pulling back Blaber with all out as well, but that's going to be cease and desist. They're going a long journey back into the base. Solo will be the first casualty. Gnar and the follow-up Berserker looking for the kill. They've got Treatz. He tried his best, but he's just not got enough there. The rest of Immortals, they're corralled back into their base. They'll lose another inhibitor of this one in the bot lane.
yeah, it's going to be all she wrote, I think. Berserker gets charmed up.
But the cleanse right back out of there, and Berserker, he's just too far ahead. Nobody can stop him. Cloud9 untouchable. They'll take this game. They'll retain the tie first place with evil geniuses as they crash down inside of the fountain of Immortals because they have got the game.
Another solid game here from Cloud9. This one very dominant against Immortals. We got some early things working for them. They got that first kill onto Tactical. They got that first blood working for him, but really that was about it. You know, it felt like it was all Cloud9 from there.